The following program is brought to you with generous support from Marshall County Tourism. Marshall County, we welcome you with a smile. And Marshall County Community Foundation, helping great ideas take flight. And with additional support from the City of Plymouth, Indiana, Bill and Betty Larimore, and Ely Marshall and Paul DeBenedictis.
In every life, some rain must fall, and you'll get wet as your sorrow calls. But the sun will rise on a brand new morn. You'll be warm and dry and freshly born.
Here is the radical rascal of all things lunar or lunatic, your radio hour host, George Schricker!
The river goes round, around the bend. The river goes round, round, round till the very end. And when it stops, woo-hoo! It starts again. It won't be long till the river goes round. It won't be long till the river goes round and round and round, my friends. Well, thank you, Derek, for that lovely introduction. I hear you have a new hobby, apart from your love of Himalayan horseshoes, although I gather this one mirrors that sport a bit.
Yes, I've taken up the exciting game of cornhole.
I've always felt that appellative was a bit embarrassing, though I can't tell you exactly why. I understand you've built your own version of the game.
Yes, I've added some interesting twists, and to what I feel was an otherwise rather unexciting game.
Yes, I've heard it involves blindfolds.
Yes, blindfolds and lawn darts.
Lawn darts?
Or jarts, as they're also sometimes known.
Weren't those instruments of destruction made illegal a few years back?
Shh. I have an official historical set I got from a yard sale, and I've even sharpened the tips. But don't tell anyone.
Not a soul, not a soul. Derek, I've thrown those bags for cornhole before, but they're supposed to have corn. Are they supposed to have corn in them? Do you know?
It can be corn or beans.
Be anything. But have people always done this, thrown bags of things into holes?
As a matter of fact, the game was first described by Heiliger de Vint in 1883 in his patent for parlor quoits, a game which displays most of the features of modern cornhole, but uses a square hole. So that might cure your problem with the name of the game. De Wint was the first to use bean bags and a slanted board with a hole as a target.
Well, how exactly is your version played? In your parlor?
No, we still play outdoors. The key is that we play the game blindfolded and we throw backwards over our shoulders, first the jart and then the beanbag.
Wow. I would imagine that could prove quite a handicap.
Yeah, it's funny that you use that word, handicap. Actually.
Well, Derek, we'll catch up on all those details in our next episode, but I'm afraid we have to move along to our regularly scheduled guests.
Yes, that's correct, Maestro. We have words of wisdom from our resident soothsayer, Rosie. Rosie is sitting next to me with her Rastafarian dreadlocks, green leathern leafy hands, gypsy dress, and her pithy disposition. Always eager to share her thoughts with us, she comes complete with notes of wisdom distilled from a world of scintillating sources. Take it away, John.
We have a note from Rosie. This note was wrote by Rosie. It's a wonder of a note. It's fresh off a ferry boat. If we voted on a quote, this note we'd vote the goat. We have a note from Rosie.
What does this note say? Well, Rosie is always reading the most interesting writers, and those are words from one of my favorites, Maya Angelou, an American writer of memoirs and a poet and a civil rights activist. She published 7 autobiographies, 3 books of essays, several books of poetry, and is credited with a list of plays. These are some of her moving words. I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. The words from Rosie.
Now, usually in this segment, I cross the room like this, and I go over and I talk to my music producer, John Bahler.
I'm not over there, George. Don't do it.
Where are you?
I'm behind you.
Oh,
Behind you.
Oh, there you are.
Hey,
John Bahler.
how are you?
Well, who did you bring here with you tonight?
I brought a Kyle and an Aaron.
Kyle Buck, right?
Yeah, that would be I.
Yes, yeah.
It depends on who's asking.
Right. Well, I'm asking, and you're from Irvington. You live in Irvington, right?
Yeah, I live in Irvington now, originally by way of Moonsville. You know, if you know the band, you know of Moonsville. But yes, I do live in Irvington now.
Irvington, and it's a place on the east side of Indianapolis.
Yeah, kind of the easternmost neighborhood, really, inside 465.
And they have roads there.
Yeah, they're not too indistinguishable from the moon at the moment. There's a lot of potholes.
Yeah.
But we're making do. We're making do.
Got a whole lot of roads there.
Whole lot of
Good,
roads.
good.
A lot of whole roads.
And Aaron, you live in Noblesville, and I have to mention. I mean, how does a guy like you get such a great last name, Nicely?
Yeah, it turns out it may be a Mennonite name. So share that.
Good stuff.
John and I's can trace our heritage back to Switzerland. About 40 miles apart, our villages were way back when. And
Wow.
and here we are, all these many years later,
Wow.
together again.
That's great. That's great. Well, it's great to have you all here. And John, we started this thing up a few years back.
Yeah, I think it's been like 80 years or something.
Only feels like that sometimes. And I remember you used to host open mic here, right?
I did, yeah.
And that was exciting to always have you playing at open mic.
Well, it's always nice to have a chance to play something. In open mic, you sort of feel like if you come back again, you should play something different than before.
Right.
Which that's what I like, because that means, all right, I got to have a new song because I got an open mic coming up.
Well, you have no problems writing songs. I know.
No,
that
but it
for a
is
fact.
nice to have an occasion. When I was young, I wrote lots of songs and I never played them for anybody.
Yeah.
So
what about
so-
your brother, that famous brother of yours?
Well, for a little while, I wrote music with one of my brothers.
Yes.
When I was in 4th grade.
Uh-huh.
And through the next couple years, really. But by the time I got out of elementary, he'd sort of lost interest. I continued writing music.
And that's when you hit the road right out of elementary?
No, I didn't know how to play guitar yet.
But your family did. Your family was
Yeah,
very
right,
talented.
right.
You were in a family band, right?
Yeah. My dad, his family wasn't musical at all, but he, when he was a junior in high school, he was very sick and couldn't go to school and had nothing better to do than learn how to play guitar. And everything he knows, he figured it out on his own. And I didn't have to go through that because I grew up underneath him.
Wow. Well, show us some of those licks you got. You all worked on together in a song. How would that be?
Okay. This tune's title comes from a sign you see on the side of the road every now and then. Most of the time when you drive in a county seat, I suppose there's a few counties that don't have them, but we have these signs that say College Success County as you're driving into the county seat. And I've always, I don't know, kind of seen like an irony or a humor in those signs. But especially I was driving into Logansport, and when I drive into Logansport, it hits me more than anywhere else, because you got like all these meat packing plants and just, different people with their industrial jobs, and the people that built the city and the people that keep the city going are not college-educated people. And we've got this sign that promotes, we're a college success county. We're proud of the people who got the education, and we're not proud of the people who kept the thing going. They've surrounded my city with signs, with a heartless boast, with an empty line, 'cause they don't see me, they pay me no mind. College Success County, College Success County, on every road I see, they shout it out to me, College Success County. When the road crumbles, I make it smooth. I mow the baseball field for your tender youth. When your dream burns down, I hold the fire hose. I bring the power back when the storm winds blow. You can call me a fool, but I built your school, and I built your home and your swimming pool. And I died at the plow, and I died at the wheel, and I gave you my life on the battlefield. College Success County, College Success County, on every road I see, they shout it out to me, College Success County. Take the kids from my home to your college dorm. Train them up in your ways, 'cause you don't have your own, and they'll leave their father for a land of plenty, and they won't come back to this College Success County. You can call me a loser in a world of your winners, 'cause I know every saint needs a sinner. But I built these posts, and I built these signs, telling every highway I'm some Frankenstein. College Success County, College Success County, on every road I see, they shout it out to me, College Success County. They've surrounded my city with signs, with a heartless boast of beauty divine, 'cause they don't see me.
Beautiful song. And speaking of college, you and Aaron went to the same college.
We did. We have a lot of degrees
Yeah, you do.
between the two of us.
Yeah.
It's a long time to figure it out.
Yeah. I know a little bit about that myself.
Yeah.
Well, the economy wasn't very good. They were going to pay me to go back to school, so that's what I did.
Yeah. And
Otherwise, I swear I wouldn't have done it.
did you just switch places?
We did.
Boy, that's kind of tricky.
Well, I don't. It was supposed to be a surprise for the listeners, but
Okay. Well, Aaron, you went to Wabash College, didn't you?
That's right. Nowhere near the Wabash River or Wabash County.
Right. Crawfordsville, Indiana, right?
Beautiful Crawfordsville. That's right.
Right. And what did you study at Crawfordsville?
English, the minor in theater.
The minor in theater. So
That's right.
Were you in some plays?
No, I got all my credits by doing set building
Okay.
and playwriting. That's what I was really focused on.
Playwriting.
Yeah.
So you've written some plays?
One play.
One play. Okay.
It was a minor, you know.
Okay. All right. Well, have you got another song for us, band? Okay.
We do. We'll do one for you here called One Thing at a Time. And this is a song that I wrote a long time ago, and it just never quite came together right. And it sat around and went through version after version. But I knew we'd figure it out eventually. And we got a wonderful take on our new album. It's called One Thing at a Time, because that's just a reminder to ourselves to slow down and do that, you know. And there's two main verses in the song. And first one is kind of a reminiscence about my grandfather. Told these incredible stories about when he was young in Kentucky and southern Indiana, and just all the running around and crazy things they did. And you just think, when I knew him, he was already 70 years old almost, you know, and he wasn't running around getting in fights and being all crazy. Maybe he could have. He was a big guy. But you know, I kind of wished I could have been there to see him when he was young and my grandma when she was young, and not that they weren't vibrant in their older years, but man, you know, just kind of wish I could have been there for that. And the second verse imagines the same thing with my dad, who grew up in the 60s and 70s. But what the song really wound up being was a reminder to myself to try and take care of myself. I've got 2 little girls, and so I want to be around for them for as long as I can be. There's one thing at a time. I wish I could have known you back when you were young. Hellraiser, big talker, high staker, line walker. Never figured you would make it so far. Gunslinging, heavy drinking, fist swinging, fast car. You told me to always count on dying today. When you've got that on your mind, you take it one thing at a time. High water, high wind, back when love wasn't such a sin. Skin knees, fat lip, long hair, not a care. Do you think you're somebody that told you back when you were young at a time.
Very nicely. Very nice. Very lovely. Well, coming up next, I'll be doing a heartache song that I wrote many years ago. And I listened to a lot of country music when I was young. I don't know how many of you ever heard Patsy Cline before, and you heard the song I Fall to Pieces by Hank Cochran. And I just thought that was the greatest song in the world, and I used to play those kind of songs, so I'll be doing that next with the girls. And John.
You're watching the Wild Rose Moon Radio Hour show on WNIT Public Television, Channel 34.1, featuring the Stampede String Band with special guest, the Marshall County Melody Makers.
Welcome back to the Wild Rose Moon Radio Hour. We are here with George Schricker, the host of the Wild Rose Moon Radio Hour, and he's going to introduce a song for you.
I'd actually really like to introduce the people who are going to help me sing it. And so I want to introduce Kim Morrison, who directs the Marshall County Melody Maker. Taught music for 20 years, and now teaching preschool at Head Start. And Eileen Wright Schroeder directed the Purdue Extension Chorus for 48 years. Vera Tiani has been with the Melody Makers for 13 years. And Pam Hendon has sung with the Melody Makers for the past 26 years. And the Marshall County Melody Makers is the oldest singing group in...
oldest state choir
oldest
in
state
Indiana
choir.
Since 1934. And
the Marshall County Melody Makers is the... Wow, give them a nice hand. And John Bahler's going to play lead guitar on this song for me, and Nathan Waddell's going to play bass. So here we go. Oh, I better tune up, don't you think? Might matter to their ears.
Just tuned up yesterday.
That's pretty good. Okay. Darling, I've been looking for you everywhere I've gone. Round corners, curbs, and windowsills, I hope you'd come along. I long to hold you in my arms, make our dreams come true. Instead, I'm sewing up my heart with memories of you. I searched for you in ocean waves upon a sea of blue. I strolled along the boulevards whenever far from home. I long to hold you in my arms and help our dreams come true. Instead, I'm sewing up my heart with memories of you. I'll stitch together tears, my darling, stitch together tears. Each moment filled with happiness, the times you've held me near. I long to hear your whispered voice speak music to my ears. Instead, your love has taught me how to stitch together tears. Mementos earned in innocence your eyes so deep and free. Your tender touch, your awkward ways, you stumble just like me. But something changed along the way, I'll never know just why. And now I'm mending all those dreams we hoped would touch the sky. I'll stitch together tears, my darling, stitch together tears. Each moment filled with happiness, the times you've held me near. I long to hear your whispered voice speak music to my ears. Instead, your love has taught me how to stitch together tears. Darling, you have taught me how to see my life anew. You've taught me with your touches deep, your kisses oh so true. A gentle hand upon my cheek, the way you shared your fears. But most of all, you showed me how to stitch together tears. I'll stitch together tears, my darling, stitch together tears. Each moment filled with happiness, the times you've held me near. I long to hear your whispered voice speak music to my ears. Instead, your love has taught me how to stitch together tears. Instead, your love has taught me how to stitch together tears.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, from our hometown to yours, the Wild Rose Moon Radio Hour presents our very own audience participation quiz show, Shoot the Moon!
It don't matter to me how smart you are, maybe you're a big buffoon. You don't need to be quick on the draw, all you gotta do is shoot the moon. Shoot the moon, shoot the moon.
And now, here's the host of Shoot the Moon, the original colonist of little-used words, and an often chuffy, twisticle, and gut-foundered lad of ribald jollification, George Schricker.
Thank you, Derek. I never get tired of being called both chuffy and twisticle. Would you mind reading the rules of this woefully contrived yet mentally challenging extravaganza?
Certainly. Prior to the show, audience members indicate their willingness to participate in Shoot the Moon by supplying an answer to this inane survey question. Are you now, or have you ever been, a student of behavioral psychology? And with that question answered, with any number of attendant variables distinguishing the method a person might freely choose, or so they may deceptively think, in the affirmative, they are needlessly subjected to this further interrogation. Are you ready, willing, and able to gently access your remarkable, yet environmentally predetermined being in an often silly and self-deprecating manner in the futile attempt to answer a series of capricious and often ill-conceived questions?
Sure. Clearly.
And from a collection of audience members who have learned to push a button to ask for a stimulating electrical shock while answering in the affirmative, exactly 2 contestants are selected to play Shoot the Moon. So now let's play Shoot the Moon!
We have Dr. John Bahler here today. We're lucky to have John. And what?
My tickets say something about wait, don't ask.
No, you're in the wrong show. Yeah, apologize. And we have Dan Schubert, a retired teacher. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, my parole officer see me on it. No, okay.
And John, you like to read.
Yeah.
And all kinds of things? Are you like nonfiction, fiction? What do you?
Anything.
Really?
And everything.
Okay.
Bible to psych.
And do you read while you sail? Because I know you sail as well.
That would be difficult.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and it might defeat the purpose.
A lot of wet pages.
Yeah. And Dan, and I know you like to cut wood.
I do. I like to stay warm.
Yeah, and that's good. Well, let's get this game a rolling, okay? Dan Schubert and John Bonero, let's go here. John, would you pick the? Well, you have to read the questions here, don't you?
Sure, yes. Let's say number 1 is One with the Moon. Number 2 is creative writing in addiction. 3 is I wonder view. And subject 4 is waging peace at battleground. And an extra credit question is titled, just in case we need it, invested in rhyme.
Well, this is exciting, and we're on the board here. What do you think, John?
Michelle didn't mention anything about hard questions.
Well, how do you know they're hard until I ask them?
Because they just have to be.
Okay.
I'm terrified.
Okay.
I wonder view.
I wonder view. Okay. All right. And gentlemen, would you step up to the mics because we're going to need you for this game show. Wonder View is an unincorporated community in Boulder and Gilpin counties in the U.S. state of Colorado. Is that correct?
To my understanding, yes.
Okay. It lies within a valley known as Coal Creek Canyon and is part of the larger census-designated place of Coal Creek. The settlement was developed in the late 1920s and early 1930s by the prominent Denver lawyer Otto Friedrichs as a vacation community for the working class. Did you know all that?
I was actually going to bring it up, but I'm glad you did first.
Okay.
I'm glad you did first.
And another prominent person from Wonderview is the singer-songwriter Kyle Buck of the Stampede String Band fame. And all businesses and homes in the village have and I wanted to ask you about this, a golden zip code. What does that mean?
I think that they might just be referring to Golden, Colorado, which is not too far away. And, being an unincorporated area, I bet you they probably have zip codes from Golden, Colorado. But as far as, I think any deeper connotation, I think they're all pretty golden in and of themselves.
Okay.
I would say.
Okay, good. All right. Well,
You like the zip codes, huh?
Hey.
And there is a world-renowned cafe there called the Wonderview Cafe. Is that right?
Well, it's I believe it's now the Sunshine Cafe, but at one time, it was the Wonderview Cafe.
Okay. Wonderview is not known, John, for which one of the following outdoor activities. Are you ready? Which one of these is it not known for? A, camping. B, fishing. C, hiking. D, jarts. Or E, disc golf.
Clearly disc golf.
Sorry, it was jarts. I apologize. That was a trick question.
Were you listening earlier? It's been outlawed for years.
Okay, Dan, can you go to bat here?
One with the moon.
One with the moon. One with the moon. Kyle Buck spent time growing up in the bustling Indiana town of Moonsville. Is that right?
That's indeed the case.
And it's near Anderson, Indiana? Is that correct?
It's right in the middle of the triangle. If you can imagine Muncie, Alexandria, and Anderson, put a bullseye right in the middle of it. That's about where it's at.
Okay. Moonsville was started, I'm sure you know all this, is started in 1839 in what is now Richland Township in Madison County, Indiana, by a Mr. Williams and a Mr. Adams, who opened a small general store on land owned by Zimri Moon, hence Moonsville, right? Specifically at the junction of County Road 600 North and 350 East, in case any of you want to drive there after the show.
Yeah. You'll go right past my mom's house.
Well, okay. Soon afterwards, Hiram Stanton set up a blacksmith shop, and Mr. Moon opened a hotel. There was even a post office and the Moonsville Cemetery to the south. However, there was never, I think this is correct, there was never any town plat designed, and so never any incorporation. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's still, to this day, it's county property, and I believe the addresses are mostly Alexandria now.
Yeah. The local populace would not allow Moonsville, however, to be unofficial or to die. It's a moving story.
And neither will we.
They maintained social functions at the crossroads, and sometimes during the mid-20th century initiated the Moonsville Conservation Club, which held, among other events, which one of the following? And you can help with this, but you can't say it out loud. But you can stomp your feet or raise your hand or tip your cap. Okay.
All right.
A, you ready? Which one of the following was one of these events that they held to put Moonsville on the map? Was it A, horseshoe on the pig, a throwing contest, and this should interest Derek, in which horseshoes are thrown at two large iron pigs? Have you ever heard of this?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Attempting to land on the pig's tail, the ear, or snout for points. Or B, a pie eating contest during which a contestant consumes as many boxes of moon pies as possible over a 10-minute period, washing them down with RC Cola. Or C, an annual horse show commemorating the village's first blacksmith.
I'm going to guess C.
The Moonsville Horse Show was continued for over 50 years, and besides being very well attended by equestrians from all over the country, it is also considered one of the high points of the Richland Township social season. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, it gets very popular around Moonsville when it's horse show time. It's one of those sorts of places you could blink and drive through nowadays, but when it's horse show time, it is packed. Yeah.
Wow. And what do they have games? Just the horses.
The last time I went, it was different types of events within the horse show. Some was riding, some was just showing, it was just anything you could do that was fun and equestrian related. They made it happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
They probably threw some horseshoes at some iron pigs at some point.
Okay. Well, what's our score now, Derek?
Well, that's Dan with 0, I think. Or did he get that correct?
Dan got that right.
That is correct. I'm sorry. That is Dan with 1 and John with 0.
John, we got to step it up.
All right.
Okay, come on. Pick one here.
Writing traditions.
Writing traditions. Okay. This is a good one. It's a good one. And Aaron and John can help us with this because they'll know more about it. Okay. John Bahler and Aaron Nicely both hold a master's in creative writing from Ball State University. That's right. And I'm sure they will be able to help you with this because this is about Ball State traditions. Okay? And you must know all about Ball State traditions. So which of these following traditions is not a real tradition at Ball State? Is it Frog Baby, a tradition involving the rubbing of the frog baby nose, a statue created by Edith Parsons and installed in 1937 by Frank Ball? What?
I've done that.
You've done it?
I've done it.
Oh, good, because that's tricky. That does sound fake.
Indeed. Or the Naked Lady, a ritual involving rubbing the ears of two wild deer on the statue called the Forest Idol, created by Alban Polasek, and featuring a partially nude woman mingling with two wild deer. Rubbing the deer's ears is considered to function as a love potion, often performed before a date.
This is a family show.
Or Chirp Chirp, because the name of Ball State sports teams are called the Cardinals. In 2004, Ball State fans cleverly designed a school cheer that went chirp, chirp. whenever the opposite team reached third down. Which one is it? Frog Baby, Naked Lady, or Chirp Chirp?
I think it's Naked Lady.
That's correct. Very good. So what's our score now, Derek?
Our score is now John 1 and Dan also 1.
Well, that's amazing. And what does somebody win or?
As a matter of fact, win or lose, everyone gets lucky on Shoot the Moon. Both Dan and John have won a mug, George, a sleek and elegant mug, and a sticker bearing the Wild Rose Moon logo, which is the image of Rosie gazing at the first full moon in June when the wild roses bloom. Drink up and enjoy your morning Java, tea, or moonshine in your Wild Rose Moon drinking convenience. Congratulations, Dan and John. Everybody wins when we play Shoot the Moon.
Congratulations to our winner. Right after the break, we will feature more songs and conversation with the Stampede String Band, featuring Aaron Nicely, Kyle Buck, and John Bahler.
You're watching the Wild Rose Moon Radio Hour show on WNIT Public Television, Channel 34.1. Featuring the Stampede String Band with special guest, the Marshall County Melody Makers.
Welcome back to the Wild Rose Moon Radio Hour. I'm here with the Stampede String Band, and here's Aaron. Nicely, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
You grew up around Cincinnati, is that right?
That's right.
And you went to
Northwest High School, yes,
Northwest
sir.
High School. Was that a big high school?
It had about 2,000 students, yeah, right there on the very northwest side of the city.
Northwest side. Did you go into the city ever? Did you go?
To see the Reds play, stuff like that. But yeah, never much into the city.
Yeah. Were you inspired? I hear you played an instrument.
Yeah, played saxophone growing up.
Baritone sax, right?
Baritone saxophone.
That's a big saxophone.
That's the biggest one. I was the only kid big enough to carry the case. So
yeah.
That's how they assign these things.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And Kyle, you grew up in Colorado. You mentioned
I was born there. I grew up in Moonsville.
Moonsville.
Yeah.
And your mother listened to all kinds of music. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, she was an accomplished clarinetist herself into college, and just music was a major part of our house nearly every day. But Sunday specifically, I remember waking up to anything from Emmylou Harris to Dan Fogelberg to Billy Idol to, all over the place. Red Hot Chili Peppers, kind of all over the place.
Right, and I know Aaron picked up the electric guitar, too, in high school, right?
That's right.
And did you pick up an instrument in high school?
Yeah, my freshman year for Christmas, I got my first guitar, and so, never looked back.
So did you both start writing songs right away?
Yeah, I actually had an interesting sort of situation arise in high school where I was, wanted to show my mom how much I'd been practicing. And, I got with a friend of mine when home studio recording was getting to start to be accessible to teenagers. And so he had a microphone and some software. And so I went and recorded like a little 3-song demo. And I was in the 8th grade. No. I was a sophomore. And I recorded 2 covers and an original song. And the original song leaked somehow from that guy to, I could trace it back pretty quickly, to that guy, to the rest of the school. And a lot of people were like making fun of me because it wasn't the greatest song in the world. But I'm like, you're listening to it though, right?
Yeah. Do you remember the name of it?
It was called I Wonder.
I Wonder.
Yeah. I probably couldn't remember the lyrics or anything, but I do remember that was the name of it.
I Wonder View.
Yeah. Oh, hey, I didn't, that was just sort of, in the ether there, but we made it happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, can you make another song happen right now? Good.
Yeah, in the first segment, we did a couple of songs off of our most recent album. That's The Last Shall Be First. And this segment, we'll do a couple of newer songs for you. And in our new music, we've tried to shift our songwriting a little bit because we write a lot of songs, but it's typically, you go off, you're inspired, you come up with some idea, and then you hammer it out, and then you bring it to the band, and you say, hey, here's this song that I came up with, let's do it. And I'll do lots of that. Kyle does a little bit of that. Aaron does a lot of that. And this time around, we just wanted, well, I guess the reason I wanted to do this was because of John Lennon and Paul McCartney. When these guys, I mean, they were kids basically, and they made this deal that whenever one of them wrote a song, they would put both of their names on it. And it's an idea like they couldn't have understood at the time how good of an idea that was, because every time you come up with an idea, it's like, hey, my name's going on it whether you want it or not, so you might as well let me contribute something to this. And then because everybody's hands are in every song to a degree, then you just wind up with doors that are open that wouldn't have been opened if it was just one guy. And so I said to the group I wanted to take an effort. We'd tried a few things collaboratively written before, but we try to get serious about it. So we'll do a couple of songs that are more than just one guy in his bedroom or whatever. But these are sometimes a little bit more work actually to write. Yeah. Well, because there's somebody else to say, no, I don't like that idea.
But you always got to offer another one in return.
I know you got a mighty strong will. You can clutch your tears, not let one of them spill. But it don't take a strong will to lie to yourself. Did your eyes ever fill with tears? I'm not asking if you cried, I'm asking if your body tried. I wonder if you think of me at all. But the truth from your lips may never fall. They may say they don't miss me, then break down and kiss me. Did your eyes ever fill with tears? I'm not asking if you cried, I'm asking if your body tried. Your shoulders are a mighty stone wall. Your heart is all instruments of war. Would a touch of my hand be your last stand? Did your eyes ever fill with tears? I'm not asking if you cried, I'm asking if your body tried. Did your eyes ever fill with tears? I'm not asking if you cried, I'm asking if your body tried.
That was great. Well, John, we're going to do one more song, but I just want to tell you from the bottom of my heart how much I thank you for making the Wild Rose Moon Radio Hour possible, and we all should give him a big hand for that. You know, when I was talking to John about this, he had mentioned that his family band had been on stage down in Indianapolis at the State Fair, right?
Yeah.
And you did a recreation of the barn dance, the WLS barn dance, right?
Right, yeah.
And I never would have conceived of this if I hadn't, first heard John Bahler's playing and singing, and also known that because I knew that he had a love for that kind of thing. And so it's just been so great working with you over the years. I just want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, how much it means to me.
Thank you, George.
And
thanks. I love you too, George. This has been a very big part of my life, and I appreciate the gift that you've given to me by inviting me to be a part of it.
Well, you're more than welcome. It's just been a pleasure. So can you leave us with one more song?
Sure. Aaron, you got anything you want to say about this one?
Yeah, this is another pieced together song. This was about 2 pages worth of lyrics that John helped cut down. That's really the best thing you can help do for another songwriter is just hack it to pieces. Get rid of all the stuff you don't need. Like in that last one, John had some really terrible verses at the end that I came in and saved for him. So but he helped find the best verses in a big pile of garbage for this one.
No, that would a touch of my hand be your last stand. That was Aaron's work there. That's a real nice line there. It's better than the ones I had.
Kick it off there, Kyle. This one's called The End of the Line. Lessons that I've learned, earned the love of a woman, and I've been burned. And I have gambled and been spread thin, won it all back, lost it all again. Been broken on the wheel before I could bend. And every time I'm trying, I start looking for a sign. I know I've reached the end of the line. And every time I'm trying, I start looking for a sign. I know I've reached the end of the line. Well, I have faced my fears and foes, run away like the wind that blows, lived to tell the tale of my wins and woes. And every time I'm trying, I start looking for a sign. I know I've reached the end of the line. And every time I'm trying, I start looking for a sign. I know I've reached the end of the line. The end of the line, the end of the line. Oh, the end of the line. I know I've reached the end of the line. Hey, the end of the line, the end of the line, the end. Oh, the end of the line. I know I've reached the end of the line.
Well, thanks so much to Aaron Nicely, Kyle Buck, and John Bahler, the Stampede String Band, and to Nathan Waddell on bass, and the Marshall County Melody Makers, Kim Morrison, Pam Hendon, Eileen Wright Schroeder, and Vera Tiani Schuper.